Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Basis Points, where we dive deep into the numbers and the stories that drive our economy and shape our world. The headlines. Dollar reserves slide as the Philippine government pays off foreign debt. What does this mean for our economy? Unemployment drops to 3.9% in October, the lowest this year. But is it enough to boost incomes? Retailers fight back against the MMDA's proposed ban on sales during Christmas to decongest the metro. Is your holiday shopping at risk? Next, South Korea's finance minister promises action amid political chaos. How will this impact Asian markets? The answers to all of these and more in the newscast. First, a look at the financial markets. In the United States, the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 closed at record highs on Friday, boosted by strong forecasts from companies like Lululemon, Athletica, and positive jobs data. Investors are increasingly optimistic that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates this month. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones closed lower. It was dragged down by a drop in the shares of United Health Group.
Today is just a continuation of the last month. You've seen really Mag 7 names being re-rated again. A lot of excitement over certainly AI heading into 25 still. You did have, to be fair, some nice tech reports in recent days, like HP, Salesforce, Marvell. That's all kind of underwriting an IT acceleration after they were kind of trading a little sideways in recent weeks.
Over in Europe, markets closed slightly higher as investors digest the latest political turmoil in France. The FTSE 100 in the UK slipped by nearly 0.5%, settling at 8,308. France's CAC 40 index, however, climbed 1.3% to 74.26 after a dramatic vote toppled Prime Minister Michel Barnier's minority government. French President Emmanuel Macron responded with a strong speech criticizing politicians for ignoring voters and for asserting that he will complete his term through 2027. In the Asia-Pacific region, markets are mixed as trading begins. Japan's Nikkei 225 is up by nearly 0.25%. South Korea's Kospi lower significantly by more than 2%, while Australia's S&P ASX 200 is higher by almost 0.5%. On the local front, the Philippines' gross international reserves dip at the end of November as the government settles some of its foreign currency debts. That's according to data from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Preliminary data shows dollar reserves slipped by 2.4% to $109 billion at the end of November, down from $111 billion in October. Year-on-year, reserves rise by 5.6% from $102.7 billion. The central bank says the month-on-month decline reflects the national government's foreign currency withdrawals to pay off debt obligations and to fund other expenses. The BSP also notes that the drop is due to its foreign exchange operations and lower gold prices, which reduce the value of its gold holdings. This means that the country is making progress in paying off debts, but the decline in reserves underscores the importance of maintaining a strong financial cushion. Now, ANZ cites the moderate uptick in November inflation as a factor in the central bank's likely decision. If approved, this would bring the benchmark lending rate to 5.75%. The central bank has been in an easing mode with two similar cuts in August and October as it aims to stimulate growth while monitoring price stability. Latest data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows that inflation inched up to 2.5% in November from 2.3% in October. The rise was still within the BSP's target range, leaving room for policy adjustments. With the holiday season in full swing, this move could help lower borrowing costs and encourage spending, but the challenge will be keeping inflation in check as demand picks up. Now, the country's unemployment rate drops to 3.9% in October, the lowest so far this year, according to Finance Secretary Ralph Recto. This brings the year-to-date average to 4.9%, slightly below the government's targets. Recto says that the government is focused on creating better quality jobs to improve incomes and to reduce poverty, but acknowledges that there's still a long way to go. He also points to an increase in youth workforce participation, with young Filipinos making up 79% of the 908,000 new entrants in October. The October unemployment rate is an improvement from 4.2% in the same period last year, representing an additional 369,000 Filipinos with jobs compared to October 2023. Overall job creation for the year is estimated at around 845,000. The Philippine Development Plan sets a target unemployment rate of 4.4 to 4.7% for 2024, but challenges remain, especially in providing higher-paying jobs and more secure employment options. Now, while the numbers show some progress in job creation, many Filipinos still struggle with low wages and a lack of stable job opportunities. The question now is whether the government's initiatives can address these gaps and meet the demand for better jobs in the coming year. Now, President Marcos is set to sign the amendments to the Agricultural Tariffication Act of 1996 today. Through these amendments, Senate President Chiz Escudero expects rice farmers to get a boost in their production with greater support from the government in the provision of farm machinery and equipment, free distribution of seeds, and other interventions. The law extends the life of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund sourced from tariffs collected from the rice importation until 2013. Now, the Senate President adds that an increase in the annual allocation to the ARCSEF will also be instituted from the current 10 billion pesos to 30 billion pesos until 2031. Factory output in the Philippines shows signs of recovery in October as the rate of contraction slows amid improved demand. A monthly survey by the Philippine Statistics Authority reports that the volume of production index, or VOPI, fell by 1.8% year-on-year. This is a notable improvement compared to the 5% drop recorded in September. For the first 10 months of the year, the average growth of VOPI now stands at 1.7%. The slower decline is driven by 6.8% growth in the beverage manufacturing sector, which accounted for nearly 30% of the October trend. Now, while the numbers point to a gradual recovery in the manufacturing sector, experts say that sustaining this growth depends on stronger performance from other industries and a continued improvement in domestic demand. Now, Philex Mining Corporation extends the operations of its Badkal mine in Benguet until December 31st of 2028, delaying its closure by another year from the previous deadline of 2027. The company says this decision is based on a price sensitivity analysis that confirmed continuing operations for an additional year is financially viable. The extension safeguards the jobs of nearly 2,000 workers, providing income for families and supporting the local economy in Benguet. Badkal Mine has been producing gold and copper for over 6 decades and remains as a key player in the mining sector. Its operating life has been extended several times to maximize resource extraction. Philex Mining says that the extension will help ensure a seamless transition to the commercial operations of the Silangan Gold and Copper Mine in Surigao del Norte, set to begin in 2026. Silangan, one of the country's largest mining projects, is expected to bring long-term economic benefits, including increased exports, attracting investments, and strengthening the Philippines' global position in the mining industry. This extension not only sustains jobs and supports local communities, but also ensures continuity in the mining sector, which remains crucial for the Philippine economy. All eyes now turn to the high-impact Silangan project and to its potential to drive growth. We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line.
Magandang gabi, ako si Corina Sanchez Rojas.
Magandang gabi, ako po si Pinky Webb.
Simulan na natin ang agenda.
Nasa radyo na, mapapanood, mapapakinggan.
94.7 FM.
Nahaharap ngayon ang Estados Unidos sa isa na namang 4 na taong Trump presidency.
Death squad rin yan. Binawi niya yung sinabi niya.
Masalimuot ang buwan ng Oktubre para sa ilang bilyonaryo. Sa bawat issue may anggulo at ang balita may agenda.
The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront.
It's still continuing with hearings on the EJ.
But
Filing
we
is
can
that-
recommend the filing of cases with the proper offices or agencies.
It is always victimizing the poor, so we will continue to go against corruption in the budget.
At the forefront with attorney Karen Jimeno, 8 a.m.
Good morning, everyone!
A platter of positivity, a cup of the hottest information, and a slice of what to expect for the whole day. With excitement, positivity, and fun. Join Paulo Del Rosario, Ann Asis Carrillo, and Monique Tuzon.
It's a beautiful day!
7 a.m. on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
Welcome back to Basis Points. Now, typically we give you the opening figures at the Philippine Stock Exchange, but trading this morning is delayed. We just received a memo from the PSC. The trading will be delayed for this session. No other details were given. The memo itself coming from PSC President Mon Munzon. In any case, we can give you a recap of what happened last Friday. Now, after 3 days of losses, the PSC index closed at 67.29 last week. That's 1.7% week-on-week increase. Overall, market sentiment is cautiously optimistic with a slight upward bias as analysts and everybody in the market is expecting another rate cut by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. This time they meet on December 17. Analysts and everybody are expecting a 25% reduction in interest rates. Now note, this is because inflation is well anchored and also there is a need to bolster economic growth, especially as the government recently lowered its 2024 GDP growth target from 6 to 7% to 6.5% on the back of domestic and external uncertainties. Now, the revision may temper market enthusiasm as economic performance directly impacts corporate earnings and investor confidence. In any case, 'tis the season to look ahead and reposition for next year. In the meantime, analysts peg the market's immediate support at 6,500 and the market's immediate resistance at 7,000 rather. Now at the foreign exchange market, the peso opened lower against the US dollar. It opened at 57.90 compared to its previous close of 57.34. Now, the Philippine Retailers Association, or PRA, is speaking out against the MMDA's ban on mall-wide sales during the Christmas season, arguing that it could hurt both the retail sector and the broader economy. PRA President Roberto Claudio says the ban shows a poor appreciation of Filipino consumers' Christmas traditions and the role of shopping in driving economic activity. Claudio also points out that past attempts in 2019 to restrict weekday sales, which failed to solve traffic issues and created weekend nightmares for motorists and shoppers. The retail sector contributes 18.6% to the country's GDP, or about 750 billion pesos annually. The PRA warns that limiting consumer spending during this crucial holiday season could impact both business profits and government VAT revenues. Claudio adds that the ban could also hamper President Marcos's efforts to turn the Philippines into a shopping hub for Asia, especially as other countries offer VAT refunds and efficient tourism systems to attract spenders. Now, in a nutshell, this ban could dent holiday spending, affect the retail sector's contribution to GDP, and reduce tax collections. For the Philippine economy, it highlights the challenges of balancing traffic management with sustaining economic growth, particularly during the peak holiday shopping season. Now, in other news, the Department of Agriculture is launching its Rice for All program this week, making affordable rice available at MRT and LRT stations. Rice will be sold in 5 kilogram and 10 kilogram packs with no purchase limits, giving consumers more flexibility. Looking ahead, the DA plans to introduce 2 new varieties, Sulit rice and Nutri rice, next year. These are expected to be sold at lower prices to help families deal with rising costs. Just last week, the DA started selling well-milled rice at 40 pesos per kilo in Kadiwa ng Pangulo kiosks across Metro Manila. This program targets the persistently high rice prices despite reduced tariff rates. It aims to provide relief to Filipino households while tackling the challenge of food supply stability. Now, elsewhere, in other news, tech billionaire Elon Musk's social network, X, formerly known as Twitter, is expanding its operations right here in the Philippines by strengthening its team and presence in Manila. The Philippine Star reports that X has signed a lease in one of MegaWorld's McKinley West buildings to establish its Manila office. MegaWorld officials did not disclose any details, citing a confidentiality clause in their contract. The social network is also forming a safety team in its Manila office for its recruiting for various roles, including HR business partner, user operations specialist for the strategic response team, and safety agents. In related news, Tesla, another company owned by Musk, made its official debut in the country last month with the opening of its showroom at Uptown Parade at a MegaWorld-owned property in Taguig. We're taking a quick break. You're watching Basis Points. Please stay with us.
This is The Scorecard,
where you score the latest sports news
and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas.
I'm Erica Christensen.
Get ready. Be prepared. Get to the latest stories, updates, and reports about what's happening in the world of sports. Hosted by Anton Rojas, Erica Christensen.
Where sports is our business and business is our sport.
The Scorecard, 9:30 p.m. on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
Ganda. Exactly.
You look like a billionaire tonight.
The bigger the hair, the closer to God.
Billionario. Super B. Yes.
Super B.
This is Tessa Prieto, and this is Billionario Channel.
Hi, this is Sam Pinto.
And Anthony Semrad.
Hi, this is Donnie.
This is Belle.
And you are watching Billionario News Channel.
This is Nicole Anderson. Hi, this is Chief. Hey guys, this is Kylie Brazosa.
Hi, this is Mon Gutierrez, and you're watching Billionario News Channel, always on top.
Kunyari lang I'm a billionaire, but hello to all the viewers of Billionario.
Magandang araw, Pilipinas! Sa bawat issue may iba't ibang anggulo. Sa bawat storya may iba't ibang kwento.
Himayin natin ang bawat sulok at bawat kanto mula sa iba't ibang perspektibo na madaling maintindihan ng karaniwang mamamayan.
Every Saturday na mga magdanda to 11:30 a.m. Kaya huwag kayong papahuli mga kabayan. Manatiling may pakialam sa mga issue sa ating bansa kung kaya samahan niyo kami. Dito lang sa Cuatro Cantos!
Ciao, mabuhay. You are watching The Word Exposed.
Prepare our hearts as we dive deeper into our faith and receive the strength from God's Word. Join Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as he shares the reflection we need for the rest of the week.
We pray that the Word of God would find fulfillment in your life and His blessings be always upon you.
Every Sunday, 7 a.m. with replays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to Basis Point. South Korean Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok pledges to tackle growing economic uncertainty as political turmoil continues to engulf the Yoon Suk-yeol administration. Choi says that the government and the Bank of Korea are working together to take preemptive steps to manage volatility in the financial and foreign exchange markets. He reaffirms the importance of maintaining external credibility and assures that the government will use all available means to safeguard the economy. Meanwhile, the South Korean won has taken a hit, falling by 1.86% against the US dollar last week, its sharpest weekly drop since January. The currency's performance has been worse among major peers, dragged down by political instability and weak investor sentiment. The situation underscores how political crises can ripple through financial markets, affecting global investor confidence. Businesses with exposure to South Korea must watch these developments closely, as currency volatility and political uncertainty could impact trade, investments, and supply chain decisions. Now, elsewhere in the world, former U.S. President Donald Trump hints at potential clashes with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell if he returns to the White House, as he questions Powell's future in the role. Trump, who has previously criticized Powell over interest rate policy, says he believes Powell would resign if ordered, but not if asked. This comes as Trump campaigns on promises to lower borrowing costs for American households, raising the possibility of a renewed tug-of-war over the Fed's decision-making. Trump named Powell as Fed chair back in 2018, but repeatedly clashed with him over rate hikes during his first term, even discussing Powell's removal at one point. Traders expect the Fed to cut interest rates by a quarter percentage point at its December 17 to 18 FOMC meeting, lowering the benchmark rate to 4.25 to 4.5%. This move follows signs that the U.S. labor market is cooling. Now, Trump's return could rekindle uncertainty over the Fed's independence, potentially impacting global markets. For businesses, this means closely watching U.S. policy developments, and any tensions between the White House and the Fed could influence interest rates, trade, and the dollar's value. Still in the U.S., New York authorities identified the suspect in the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, but police withhold his name to avoid giving him any advantages. The New York Police Department releases new images of the suspect on board a taxi. A backpack similar to the one used by the suspect is also found near a playground in Central Park. It contains a jacket and play money, but no firearm. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the suspect's arrest, adding to the $10,000 reward from the NYPD. Thompson was shot and killed last Wednesday morning outside the New York Hilton Midtown, just before the company's annual investor conference. And that's it for Basis Points. I'm Maiki Oreta. We'll be back tomorrow for more news on the financial markets and more. Keep it here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel, always on top.